Most cattle operations don't grow because people are lazy. They grow because the overhead grows faster than the grass. That's the part no one really wants to talk about, because you can survive low cattle prices for a while. But when your operation has more payments than production, eventually reality catches up to you. And that is why we talk about forage, stocking rate, and production so much on this channel. And honestly, I understand the dream. Everybody wants a nice tractor, hay equipment, a nice truck and trailer. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. The problem is, what I see are a lot of operations try to buy for a 100-cow operation when they're nowhere near that. Not so much because they think they have to have all this stuff. A lot of time people in our industry are promoting it like it's a necessity. And I just like to focus on breaking that myth down. That's not always the case. You can do a lot of things with less. And then people wonder why the operation never cash flows, why they've never got cash on hand. You're selling these calves one time a year. We'll just go with that. I mean, if you've got cattle broke up into some different sets and you're having fall and winter, fall and summer calves or fall and spring calves, maybe you're selling twice a year. But that's not that many opportunities for cash coming in. So how do we make all these payments that we get tied to in the buildup? Now, there's nothing wrong with debt by itself, and there's nothing wrong with having an off-the-farm job too. I have one of those. A lot of successful operations were built that way. But eventually, the goal is for the operation to support itself. I think some people take my videos a different way than they're intended. I'm not saying that small cattle operations are bad. I am a small cattle operation. I'm saying we have to pay attention to the debt load we're carrying. This is the order that usually works. The forage supports the cows support the operation, and then the operation supports the equipment. But what happens a lot of times is people reverse that order. They buy the equipment first, then they pay payments, and then there's pressure. Then the cattle operation spends all its energy trying to feed the debt. And then eventually the owner ends up supporting the equipment instead of the cattle operation supporting itself. The grass determines what the cattle operation can become, not the tractor. Reality catches up eventually. Take this loafing shed here. The wind we've been having lately has really taken its toll. Had we been in a really tight year with low cattle prices, a drought situation, and really having to put all our money towards inputs, this would be a problem to fix. If you're building your cattle operation around perfect conditions, perfect rainfall, perfect cattle prices, perfect hay production, eventually you're going to get hit with a year that tests the system. That's why carrying capacity matters. That's why stocking rate matters. That's why forage production matters. Because forage production changes. Some years, this place carries more cows. Some years it carries less. If you ignore that, you either overgraze, overfeed, or go broke slowly. And it is slowly. Operations that last usually grow slower than people think they do. A lot of growth is honestly boring. Water lines, cross fences, better grazing, improving carrying capacity, managing your stocking rate. Those aren't necessarily fun ideas, but then slowly adding cows as the land supports it. And honestly, I sleep a lot better without massive payments hanging over my head. I've done that. Had the payments, got the bank shirt to prove it. Because eventually the goal should be for the cattle to support the operation and not your local financing organization. And look, there's nothing wrong with having just a few cows because you enjoy it. I can't imagine my life without cattle in it. But not every place has to become some cattle baron. You don't have to be a cattle baron, right? Not every place has to become this huge operation that overtakes the world. But if your goal is to grow, the forage has to support the cows have to support the operation, and the operation has to support the equipment. And if that order gets reversed, a lot of operations get stuck. That's what we talk about here. Thanks for watching. And if you're enjoying our content, hit that subscribe button. It helps us more than you can know. I do read the comments and answer as many as I can. But as this channel's growing, that's getting harder. But I don't mind. Thank you, guys.